Hi, this is Jay Billis of ESPN, and you're listening to the ML Sports Platter.
The ML Sports Platter, back with you all over the major platforms like Spotify, Google, Apple, Stitcher, Deezer, iHeart, Amazon Music, you name it. Download, subscribe, leave feedback, and a 5-star review. Hey, just go ahead and find that purple podcast button on your Apple phone, for example. Tap it, hit search, and then type in ML Sports Platter, and then you can hit the subscribe button, and you will get new and archived episodes, including shows with Adrian Wojnarowski, Mark Teixeira, Cal Ripken Jr., Bob Costas, and a potpourri of other guests, best-selling authors, etc. here on the platform. We are presented by Sit Means Sit Syracuse at the Allen Angus Pub and the Vince Aguirre Consulting Group. Log on to vcgtransforms.com to become a better leader, both personally and professionally. And a big tip of the cap, thank you as well to Camillus Golf Club. Make sure you go play Camillus this summer. If you're in and around Central New York or in the great state of New York looking to play golf courses, people travel to play golf and play new courses. Go play Camillus. Awesome greens, great scenery, and you can stop in for a burger and a beer afterwards as well. They are also an Under Armour apparel pro shop, so go in and get your quarter zips and your polo shirts. Under Armour, Camillus Golf Club apparel. It's sweet. I have a quarter zip myself. Camillus Golf Club, the official golf course of the ML Sports Platter. So I have had for a little while now, just before I do this podcast, a laptop that's kind of been buzzing a little bit, and it's been getting really annoying, and I've been trying to fix it. I got a brand new battery because I was having some battery issues. Was thinking that was going to be the issue, and that would solve everything, right? It would solve the battery problem with the low power. It would solve the buzzing and all that, but no, it hasn't solved the buzzing, and a little bit of it has been worse. So hopefully it won't distract you from this podcast. I just wanted to warn you, if you hear it off and on in the background, that is indeed what that little buzz deal is. But hopefully it won't deter from some of the content on this podcast. Before I bring in the first designated hitter in baseball history who's got a great new book out on the legendary Thurman Munson, that would be Ron Blomberg, of course. I wanted to get into the NFL draft as far as the AFC East is concerned, and just kind of quickly break down, what some of these teams did. Dolphins, Bills, Patriots, and Jets, as far as what they did, and kind of seeing a grade, I guess. I kind of hate grades, but I'll do it. And I'm going to kind of do this through the divisions. I'm going to try to kind of tackle on multiple podcasts. I'm going to try to tackle, going from one division to the next, team by team, who they got, what I like, etc. And we'll start with the Bills. I mean, Greg Rousseau, I think they got basically a mid-first-round talent here. He checks out all the boxes. He checks them all. I mean, he really does. When you look at his strength and the length, he's going to fit nicely into what McDermott and Frazier do. You can throw him on the inside. And the Bills, coming off this year, upcoming 2021, you got Hughes and Addison probably coming off the books unless they take significantly less money. I don't foresee the Bills cutting Mario Addison because I just don't think there's enough reason for that, and you're not saving enough with the cap. I mean, if you were saving $8-9 million or $15 million for a couple of guys to just release them, okay, but that's not the case contractually here with Addison. So Rousseau's great because he can help you short-term, long-term. He's got a great blend of size. He's got length, big-time speed. I really like this pick for the Bills. Then they loaded up with Carlos Basham from Wake Forest. I think Boogie Basham's going to help him big time. He's a locomotive, big power driver, great footwork, and again, adding a lot to a specific need. The Bills have got to get more pass rushing, and it's not just to stop Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs and Andy Reid and all the rest. I realize that's the easy way to go as well. They lost to the Chiefs. They got to get after the Chiefs. Well, so doesn't everybody, right? But the Bills also need to stay ahead of the other teams in the AFC. They got to stay ahead of their competition in the division and elsewhere. I mean, the Ravens are going to be good. The Steelers will be good. The Chargers are going to be a lot better. Things are going to tighten up a lot in the AFC, man. The Colts are going to be really good. I think Carson Wentz has a big future there because he's reunited with Frank Reich. So, and the Dolphins and Jets and Patriots are all getting better without a doubt. So, a lot to look at there, with the Bills beyond, just stopping Kansas City. I mean, I think that's the easy thing to say because they just lost to them in the AFC title game. But the Bills went out and got two guys, first two picks with, they filled immediate needs. And I think for the Bills, they've got to have depth in the short term and they've got to have replacements in the long term or even the very, very near term because it's only 1 year away when the Bills roster is going to start to really change. You have to pay Josh Allen. I know they just picked up his fifth-year option, but that extension is coming. So you got a lot there. I just like Basham a lot. In fact, I like Basham better than Rousseau. Who knows, right? It's all a crapshoot. We don't know how it's all going to turn out. But when you talk about top-end speed and tracking the quarterback and being a powerful guy at 6'3", 275, he's terrific. And by the way, Rousseau and Basham, these guys fit the prototypical defensive end. Today, a little bit taller and a little bit lighter in weight, and they can get around the edge with that physique. So really like it. Spencer Brown out of Northern Iowa, we hear a lot of great technique stuff out of him. Again, offensive tackle. Again, with that offensive line, it's the same thing as the D-line. You need a little bit of short term, need a little bit more of the near term, and you need some of that long term depending on where guys are going to go, where you're going to plug and play, who you're going to cut. Will Feliciano and Morse be on the roster in a year? What's going to happen with Cody Ford at tackle? Are you going to move guys around? Ryan Bates, guard tackle guard. So that's a good pick there as well. Tommy Doyle, fits the same mold at Miami of Ohio. Probably a little bit less than Spencer Brown in terms of his immediate impact, but again, serviceable player, fills a need. Marquez Stevenson, I really like this pick as well for the Bills out of the 6th round, and we know that the Bills ended up trading down late. They go out and get a wide receiver who can plug into the slot position for depth in the near future. Cole Beasley, of course, after 2022, I think the year is. His contract will be up. And Marquez Stevenson can help return punts and kicks. I think that's a big deal. Andre Roberts, a little too pricey for the Bills. I thought Andre Roberts was a great Bill last year and an underrated Bill. He really, really gave him some short field position in a lot of spots and was a major game breaker. But just too expensive. It's just too much of a price tag with the cap situation that they are in. You bring back Isaiah McKenzie, a guy who's serviceable. We know he had a huge special teams day against Miami in Week 17 in 2020. So he'll probably be the front runner to return kicks and punts. He's already said he wants that job. But now you've added another piece here in Marquez Stevenson if McKenzie has a rough patch or doesn't win the job, whatever the case may be. And that's something that Brandon Beane does. I love this about Beane and McDermott. And really the coordinators in Dable and Frazier and some of the coaching staff and all the rest. I mean, look at Bobby Johnson, Eric Washington, all these different guys, all these coaches. They create competition at every single spot. And I love that, and that's what Beane added to in this draft. Damar Hamlin at safety. Again, a long-term piece here to build depth because of Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer. Who knows what's going to happen in the very near future? Are they going to turn over the ranks to new safety sooner rather than later? If Poyer and Hoyd, if one or both have bad years upcoming, they had just extended those guys. There could be a situation where the Bills move on quickly if it means saving money. I mean, that's how quick things happen in the NFL. And so Brandon Beane, he's building that depth in case, you could have guys just tail off and you just don't expect it. I mean, anything is open in the NFL, and you've got to have depth. You got to have versatility on your roster. Brandon Beane has done that for the Bills. You got to love Rashad Wildgoose, the name there out of Wisconsin. He's a corner who can play a little slot corner. That nickel corner we know has been a need. Taron Johnson up after this upcoming year. He had a huge playoff, obviously, with a big 100-plus yard return against Baltimore. A guy who was benched by the Bills, right, but then really showed, I thought, some major major adversity in facing the situation, ends up playing and performing, and the Bills stuck with him. He's one of the many players they've stuck with and they have confidence in, and he's been unbelievable, Taron Johnson. But he's up very soon. We know that they tried to get Kyle Duggar in the draft last year. Didn't work. He went to New England in terms of being a nickel corner. I think the Bills maybe have found something with Wild Goose here to just kind of get him in, get him acclimated. And then from there, you've got the coaching. That's a big part of this thing with the Bills to get guys involved. So good stuff there as well. And then Jack Anderson, I don't know a lot about him out of Texas Tech, the offensive guard, but another piece for the Bills, a need for sure, and a guy who I think the Bills are just looking at long term. There's no other way to break that one down. Let's go to the Miami Dolphins in the draft. Look, I think the Dolphins had a great draft. You go out and get Jalen Waddle, just an unbelievable burner. I know he's undersized. People think 5'10", 180. He's going to get hit. He's not going to last. Haven't we heard that before at a lot of other positions? Haven't we heard that before at the quarterback position? Didn't we hear that about Cole Beasley? Pretty sure we did. Didn't we hear that about Julian Edelman coming out of college? Oh, he's just too small. He's too short. Yeah. I love the pick. And he reunites with Tua Tagovailoa. He's just got a burst that not a lot of people have coming out of college. And they had to get an offensive weapon. So big-time stuff there. Then they addressed Jalen Phillips, or they addressed the pass rush, I should say, on the other side with Jalen Phillips out of Miami. I think arguably is the best pass rusher in this draft. Big-time get there. Jevon Holland out of Oregon, a safety. I think looking a little long-term there and short-term. They do need a ton of secondary help. The Dolphins have a lot of needs. This is what happens. Now, they had a good year last year, but they kind of arrived early, right? They still have a lot of needs. And that doesn't happen a lot in the NFL. Like, when you arrive early because you're really, really good, or like you've been building those pieces short-term and they worked faster than maybe you thought. But the Dolphins, they've had a lot of draft capital. And these are all really, really good picks for the Dolphins. I think Holland's going to help them. He's a really, really, really good player, really versatile. I think Liam Eichenberg might end up being their best pick in this draft out of Notre Dame, the offensive tackle. You want to talk about surrounding Tua Tagovailoa with pieces. You go out and get Waddle, a number one weapon, a potential number one wideout. You go out and get Eichenberg, an offensive tackle, a potential blindside guy for the next 5 to 8 years. Big-time stuff there, and he's just a house. He's just a brick wall. He blocks. His footwork is great. Awesome hands. He's a little versatile, too, so if you get in a bind, you get injured in spots at the guard position, maybe you can kind of plug and play there. Good stuff there, getting Eichenberg. Hunter Long out of BC, a nice tight end with good hands. Again, another security blanket here, maybe a third and short type guy that Tua can go to. Offensive tackle, Larnell Coleman out of UMass. Don't know anything about him. Obviously just shoring up to protect Tua. And then a running back in the kid Dokes out of Cincinnati. Don't know a ton about him either. Just scouting reports, that he's pretty shifty and can give you some real electricity out of the backfield in terms of catching the pigskin as well. I think the Miami Dolphins, and by the way, I forgot to give the grades out. Again, I don't like the grades overall. I'm just going to do it for the hell of it. Bills, I'll give them a B. I don't think that they had a blowaway draft, but they didn't have an awful draft. I thought they filled needs, position of need, and they did everything they needed to do with guys who have really, really great potential. There's no doubt. I think the Dolphins got an A for this. I really do. I think their picks were just spot on, and I think they're all going to help Tua Tagovailoa. Before I look at the Jets and the New England Patriots, I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Bryant and Stratton College. 2- and 4-year degrees, they're starting soon. Go ahead and log on to bryantstratton.edu. Craft your degree. 2- and 4-year degrees, Bryant and Stratton College, the official college of the ML Sports Platter. And if you're in and around Central New York, or you're looking to go to college in Central New York, make sure you go to Bryant and Stratton College, James Street and in Liverpool. 2 awesome locations. Campus improvements happening all the time. Just added a nursing program. Go get them on Facebook and on Instagram and Twitter and find out all the things going on at Bryant and Stratton College. Education, athletics, and excellence all going on at Bryant and Stratton College. A big tip of the cap thank you as well to Stanley Law Offices. It's always personal with Stanley Law Offices. Log on to stanleylawoffices.com. If you're an accident victim, talk with someone from the dedicated team at Stanley Law today. Chat online, available 24/7. No cost to you, no strings attached. Get your free consultation today. StanleyLawOffices.com. And then just, some quick breakdowns here of the Patriots and the Jets. Let's go with New England first. I would probably give them a grade of a B plus. I think that they did a really good job, getting players who they think will fit what they do, fit the system. And New England has had a well-oiled machine for a couple of decades. Obviously, won 6 Super Bowls, gone to 9, but I don't think Tom Brady was a system quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. But certain guys you can still say, oh, hey, you know what? They'll fit the system and fit what we do. The system still has to operate, within the personnel. In other words, Bill Walsh always used to say it. He couldn't run the West Coast offense unless he had Joe Montana, right? You can't just say, oh, hey, here's my system. We're going to do it, this player, that player, be damned. We're running what I want. No. No. You need to still have the players, be able to execute. And if those players are not conducive to what you're doing systematically, you can't just plug in a system for the hell of it. No Joe Montana, no West Coast offense, right? Tom Brady wasn't a system quarterback. He made the system work. And he's so good that he can adapt to any system. They're hoping Mac Jones is going to be that guy out of Alabama. He can process everything fast. He's a really, really tough kid mentally. Knows how to read the field, see the field, etc. Quick release. The problem is he's not much of a hybrid in today's hybrid game, so how's that going to work out? But they're looking for him to have a pocket presence and to have great footwork inside the pocket and to do great things. So it's one of those things where I knew that the Patriots were going to get a quarterback. They did get a quarterback. They didn't have to draft up, trade up to get a quarterback. And Jones fits what they want. They want cerebral. They want knowledge. They want toughness. They want system, operation. They want all these different things. The Saban to Belichick boxes checked here again. That relationship. I'm sure Saban gave him a monster scouting report, right? I mean, of course. Those guys go back a long ways. They're buddies. They've coached together, etc. This is a solid pick for New England. I don't know what he's going to do. It's all a crapshoot. But if you're telling me which guy could flourish the most in New England with that coaching and with the weapons around him, and the Patriots went out and got some guys on both sides of the ball in the offseason, they go get Jonnu Smith, they go get Hunter Henry, they get 2 immediate security blankets. I think this is a big-time pick. I do. Great potential. We don't know what he's going to do, but I think this could work. Christian Barmore, awesome pick, defensive tackle out of Alabama in the second round for New England. Many people think that's a first-round talent that they got. He's a big guy up front who can just plug lanes. That's what they're looking to do there. Ronnie Perkins out of Oklahoma, defensive end. Again, the Patriots want to, kind of reshape that defensive line. We know that they've had a ton of success in the past, getting guys up front, the Wilforks and the Seymours. And here's Perkins to try and fit that bill. Stevenson, Ramondre Stevenson out of Oklahoma, the running back. Don't know a ton about him. We've read a little bit on him that he's a pretty good back. He's a guy who waits for his blocks to develop. He's got good balance for sure, and they really like the size of him to kind of support and try to take a little bit off of Mac Jones, perhaps in the near future. Cameron McRone, don't know a lot about him, inside linebacker at Michigan. Pretty good speed guy and versatile, at least what the scouting reports say. They go out and get Josh Bledsoe out of Missouri, a safety. Again, just got to keep adding depth to that secondary. William Sherman out of Colorado, offensive tackle, looking at a long-term protection guy there for Mac Jones. And then Trey Nixon out of UCF, who I really like, actually. Great change of direction, can run routes, and you can put him in a lot of different spots, and can do some yards after the catch as well. Could be an unheralded type guy in that 7th round. You know, the Patriots, we know what they've done in the past, deep in the draft. So good stuff there for New England in this draft. The Jets, I think Zach Wilson, again, you can't argue with the upside, the talent, the arm strength. All of it is there, there's no doubt. But there's a guy from Provo, Utah, playing his college days, and I know that he did handle the quarterback hype big time. I mean, Ty Detmer, Steve Young, they both went there, at BYU. It's more of a pressure cooker than people might think, just because it's not Ohio State, Michigan, Florida State, Florida, Miami, Oklahoma, USC, Clemson, Alabama, LSU. Doesn't mean that, you don't have pressure at a place like BYU, especially with those names I just mentioned for quarterbacks. You're talking about Steve Young, who's in the freaking Hall of Fame. And then you're talking about a guy in Ty Detmer who put up numbers that were just absolutely absurd. And, of course, won the Heisman Trophy in 1990. He's a college football Hall of Famer. So Zach Wilson had a lot to live up to, but he was really, really good. Came on the scene, about a year plus ago. We had no idea who the hell he was, right? But now, look what he's done, and he's just the full field reads and the pistol-heavy offense at BYU that he's run, the pro-style concepts. I mean, this guy, he has all the potential there. I mean, he throws the arm angle. He can generate throwing in those tight windows. He's got it. He does. He's got the ability. He's got 6'2", 215. He's got size. But again, what's going to happen around him? And is New York going to eat him alive? We'll see what happens. Elijah Vera-Tucker, I think it's a great pick for the Jets. I mean, they traded up to go get the USC guard, and he is a phenomenal athlete and a guy who's going to be able to do great things in the pass and the run. I think that pick could end up being the best one for the Jets in this draft. Although, how about Elijah Moore out of Ole Miss? Terrific player. I think they got a first-round talent at wide receiver in the 2nd round. A guy who can run outside the boundaries. He can run inside with the slot. You can put him all over the place. Big, physical, awesome hands. Played on the biggest stage in the SEC. I think this pick is fantastic. Michael Carter out of North Carolina, running back. Good pick here, too. Shifty, good hands. Boy, did the Jets have a lot of draft picks. My God. Jamie Sherwood out of Auburn, the safety in the 5th round, and also Michael Carter, the 2nd out of Duke, a safety, again, looking to shore up that secondary. A lot of secondaries are weak around the NFL, especially at the safety position, and depending on what defense you run, how much zone you're going to play. Look, you got to go up against Josh Allen twice a year. You're going up against division rivals. Your secondary has to be strong. Patriots, Jets, Dolphins, Bills, all shorted up in some spot. Somewhere, somehow, they shorted up. Love those picks there. Jason Pinnock, the corner out of Pittsburgh. Again, shoring up the secondary there. You look at Nasruddin out of Florida State. Nasruddin is how you pronounce that. Hamza Nasruddin out of Florida State, the safety. Again, shoring up. They took 3 safeties in this draft. That's what happens when you stink for a long time. You need a lot of help in a lot of places. The Jets really went for the secondary in this draft. When you think about 2 corners and 3 safeties, goodness. Another corner in Brandon Eccles out of Kentucky in the 6th round. And then Jonathan Marshall out of Arkansas, defensive tackle. The Jets are hoping to get some of that aggressive defense back, turnover prone, etc. I think the Jets did a really nice job, A-. Again, it's all a crapshoot. We have no idea what's going to happen, but good stuff here, I thought, from the New York Jets in the draft. I think all the AFC East teams really, really did well in terms of drafting, need and best player on the board, and a lot of different, I think, spots were filled in terms of the offense and the defense. especially the Jets, especially the Patriots. These teams are going to be better. They're coming for the Bills. They're coming for them. I thought the Jets, Patriots, and Dolphins really all had awesome drafts. And I thought the Bills had a B draft as well. They didn't really have to, the Flash and all the rest. They didn't have to go out and be the Flash team this year because your roster's pretty much built. You were one game away from the Super Bowl. So you just had to kind of plug, play, and shore it up, no question. Good stuff out of all four teams in the AFC East. ML Sports Platter brought to you by Liverpool Physical Therapy, CNY Electrical, and Ken's Auto Detailing. And with that, let's bring him in. The former Yankee, the former White Sox, the first designated hitter in baseball history, was the manager of the Blue Sox in the Israel Baseball League, and just compiled a lot of terrific numbers, was a power guy, and has been a really great ambassador for the game as well. And don't forget, he played in the minor leagues from 1967 to 71, and he was hitting .326 with a .565 slugging percentage for the Yankees AAA team, your Syracuse Chiefs, when the Yankees called him up to the major leagues. And he's also an author, and he's got a brand new book out. We're going to promote it and talk about it. It's called The Captain and Me, On and Off the Field with Thurman Munson, the forward by Diana Munson, all over major bookstores and Amazon.com. Let's bring him in. It's Ron Blomberg. Ron, welcome aboard, bud. Great to catch up again. How are you, man?
Oh, great. It's wonderful to be talking to you, and I'm looking forward to talking about my great new book, The Captain and Me. It's doing great. I found out this morning again, after I did quite a few shows yesterday, that I became number one again. So wow. It's great.
Well, that's awesome. Thurman Munson, obviously, everybody knows the story, and everybody knows how important a player he was, and he's just still to this day so missed. And obviously, this happened a few months actually before I was born. I didn't live through Munson's career, but my dad did. So many of my friends did. So many of his friends did. My grandmother and grandfather were huge Yankee fans. I never met my grandpa, but my grandma loved Munson, loved the old Yankees, even going back to the 50s. Munson's such an iconic guy, such a tragic figure, but you had a unique relationship with Thurman Munson. He was a friend, and he was a competitor, and I know that you learned a lot from him. Can you dive into the unique part of that friendship, Ron, with Thurman?
Oh, very, very much so. I was the number one draft choice in 1967 by the Yankees. Thurman was the number one draft choice by the Yankees in 68. And we really actually met in 69 down in spring training, and we had like a love affair in the sense where he loved to fish, I loved to fish. We played golf together. He loved to eat. I loved to eat. So basically a guy from where I was from, Atlanta, Georgia, a Jewish kid from Atlanta, from the South, and a blue-collar guy from Canton, Ohio. We just hit it off. I mean, it was fun, and we did so many things together. I got him involved in the Jewish food down in Miami. We were down in spring training down in Fort Lauderdale. Got him involved with matzo ball soup and corned beef and brisket and pastrami and half sours and, the Dr. Browns. And he got me involved with the White Castles. So we had an affair where we both loved the Yankees. We're very, very proud to wear the Yankee pinstripes. He was a wonderful guy, a wonderful friend, and he was the best catcher that I have ever seen, and he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame.
When you first met Thurman, take us back to that day when you first met him.
Well, you look at Thurman, the first time you meet him, you look at, is he a baseball player? Because, we call him Pudge, and, he was pudgy. He was around about 5'10", probably around about 210, 215, and his body was, he was very big and strong, but, he had like just a catcher's body. He was like a center on a football team. that, he was low centered to the ground. And, if you look at him, he didn't look like to be honest with you, he really didn't look like a ball player. But when he put that uniform on and when he got involved and when he went out to the field, you knew that he was something else. He had, and I tell people, he had the it factor. Here's a guy that was total command of the Yankees. He was without being the team captain, he was the team captain. He was a leader on the team. He was great, respected by everybody on the team. And, it was great and honor to be a great friend of his, plus a great, being a great ball player. He made the team go. And unfortunately, when we got involved with the Yankees, CBS owned the team, and then when George bought the team in '73, that was when Thurman really shined and really made that team happen. And that's when they voted him team captain. And he was the best of the best. And like I keep on telling people, he deserves to be at the big shrine in the Hall of Fame. And that's why I'm doing everything I possibly can to and that's why I wrote the book, is to really show him, show the fans what type of person he really was.
Where were you August 2nd, 1979 when you found out?
Well, I was in Atlanta. I got released by Chicago. I couldn't play ball anymore. I think I was watching, to be honest with you, I was watching Judge Judy. And all of a sudden, it's from the, when I was watching TV, they had like a, not a stoppage, but down at the bottom of the screen, they said, breaking news. Oh. Thurman Munson just got killed in a plane crash. And I thought I was like, I mean, it's just like when your mom and dad, unfortunately, when my mom and dad passed away, it was the same way. And, and you look at this, the worst part about it was I spoke to him 3 days before. They're in Cleveland, and they had an off day the next day, and he stayed to make sure that he was a very big family man. He made sure he stayed with Diana and his family, and we knew that he was very much involved in aviation, but we didn't know how much involved. And unfortunately, we found out the wrong way, and it was tough. But it's tough for everybody still, because and that's we want to do everything we possibly can to make something out of his life what it should be.
Ron Blomberg, our guest, baseball great, the former Yankee. The new book is out. Major bookstores, Amazon.com. Go get it. It's called The Captain and Me, On and Off the Field with Thurman Munson. You can follow Ron on Twitter now as well. With the social media aspect of today's day and age, it changes a lot of things because you have the media outlet, as you know, Ron, and the TV channels. There's just so much there, so much instant news and breaking news. As you were describing finding out about Thurman Munson, I thought about Kobe Bryant, and I thought about how when I saw it on the screen, I said, there's no way. There has to be a mistake. I mean, somebody releases this, somebody's just making it up, or something's happening, or somebody's looking to get clicks on social media, right? Because that's the day and age we're in. You didn't have that social media back then, and so you kind of had to think about it the natural way, with the media then and how news broke. Compare it to today, it's pretty wild, the difference.
Oh yeah, it was really, really tough. I have never been on social media, to be honest with you. I still got a flip phone. I still got a rotary phone. I still use my calculator. And, thank God I got people to help me do with this Twitter thing and the Facebook and all that stuff. I have no idea, to be honest with you. I don't know anything about texting messages. And, I'm a very simple guy. But once I start doing this social media thing and been in baseball And, people after they get out of baseball or sports, people forget about you very, very quickly. But, being the first DH, the day in 73, I screwed up the game of baseball, and people always talk about it, and I have fun with it. But now, because I have started and I wrote this book, and it's really got so major play. Like, I was on with Chris Russo yesterday, and for about an hour, and I'm doing the Ed Randall and the ABC, the CBS, the Foxes, the ESPNs, and they all want to know about Thurman because people really did not know about Thurman. Thurman was a nasty guy. Let's be honest with you. When he got on the field, he was tough. He was dirty in the sense where he never shaved. He always had a dirty uniform. Sometimes if he ate a hot dog or a hamburger, he might have ketchup or mustard on his jersey. Sometimes he'll come into the ballpark the next day with the same clothes on. But when he went out on the field, he was really, he was the George Patton. He was a guy that, took control. But people didn't realize, and that's one reason why I'm doing this, was because I think that's one of the reasons where it really never got in the hole, because most writers, most the reporters, and most TV people did not like to get around him because, he had a short fuse. If you're not a regular a beat writer for the Yankees, he'll jump down your throat in a second, and you should see all the younger people who used to come in and ask him questions. And right off the bat, if he feels like it's a dumb question, he'll eat them off. He'll spit them out. And, thank God I was like 3 lockers away from him. I used to love to hear him. It was great to hear him. And Bobby Mercer was right next to him. And we used to laugh. And, we used to see the writers used to come in. And, and all of a sudden, they walk out and they're scared to death. But we laugh at him. But that's the type of guy he was. He stuck up for the team. He stuck up for the Yankees. And, if it was a dumb question, he'll give you a dumb answer back, and he'll just jump on you. But he was the greatest guy off the field. He loved his wife Diana, his kids. He was so great. We did so many things together. We lived together. We did things together. We went out to dinner together. We did actually everything together. And, we used to do telethons. We used to do Shriners. We used to do the Jerry Lewis telethon. And you would believe he used to go to the kids that are sick, and he hugged them. And he used to bring them baseballs and and T-shirts and stuff. And when we walked out, we cried because he was that type of person. He loved kids. We're at restaurants. He loved to sign autographs. But when it came to baseball, when he put that uniform on, he was blood and guts. He wanted to win. And after the ball game, he was the same way. But that's why I'm trying to bring out really what Thurman was like. And it has done great. It's number 1 again, and it's been fun with this process now.
The Captain and Me, on and off the field with Thurman Munson, Ron Blomberg, the author, of course, and the foreword by Diana Munson. You've got a co-author here with the book as well, right? You and Dan are together on this.
Oh, yeah, Dan is wonderful. Dan has written a couple of books about baseball, and he knows so much about baseball. And, it's easy to talk to Dan about stories. And, I don't recollect dates. I'm not good with dates. I don't know exactly, I know the players that I played with, but, I played with so many, and I don't know exactly the years that I played with him. And Dan is just incredible. He's such a baseball guy. And he made this book. When people usually get baseball books, they got the stats in it. This guy hit a home run. This guy ran around the bases. This guy did this. He did this. But this is a love affair. It's exactly like, I don't know if you ever seen the movie Bang the Drum Slowly. And it was a book, it was a play out, it was a movie out, and it was filmed at Yankee Stadium. And Thurman and I were actually in the movie, and it was about a catcher that had cancer. And it was a pitcher that was the best pitcher on the number one pitcher on the team, and he used to take care of him. And when I was injured, Thurman took care of me. And Thurman was my a person that was, if it was people would say this guy was, he was injury prone, and this guy was this guy was that, and he would always go up to the players and say, "Don't you ever say that again." This guy ran into a wall. This guy hit a home run. He tore his shoulder up. He's doing everything he possibly can. He was my go-between. This guy took care of me. This guy was my brother. And, this was what we wanted to show, what type of person he was. And we got it through. It's an unbelievable book, and I have a couple of people already talking about having maybe a movie about it. So it's going to be fun. It's great. And, talking to people like yourself and getting the message out, it's been fun.
Couple more for you, Ron. The Yankee thing, I'm not surprised it's number one because it's Thurman Munson, it's the Yankees, it's you. But the Yankee fan base, the Yankee craziness, the love-hate of the franchise, people who hate the Yankees still respected and adored Thurman Munson. And you look at players through the years, it was like that for a lot of the classic guys, the legends who are in Monument Park, and all the way up through the recent Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera days. The Yankee phenomenon, the Yankee thing, the power. I mean, how through the years have you thought about that? Has it blown you away, Ron, being a part of that Yankee power?
Oh, absolutely. When you put that Yankee uniform on, when you put that pinstripes on, and when you play in Yankee Stadium, I've spoken to so many ball players down at Yankee fantasy camps. I do so many things for the Yankees with the Steinbrenners, with meet and greets, and do so many things through them. And when you meet other ball players, when you meet the Tony Olivers and the Willie Hortons and people like that, and one of my best friends is Art Shamsky,
Sure.
who played with the Mets for many, many years, the 69 Mets, who've just written a book. And it's great. But and he said, I just wish I had one day to play with the New York Yankees. It means so much. People don't realize, when you wear your Yankee ring, and when you're standing next to somebody wearing the Florida Marlins ring or the Boston Red Sox ring, and I'm not taking away from anything, but when you put that Yankee pinstripes on, first thing people think of Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Whitey Ford, Yogi Berra, Mickey Mantle, Joe DiMaggio. People like that. I mean, it's nobody in the game. They have the biggest brand. When I managed in Israel, I managed in 2007 with Kenny Holzman and Art Shamsky, the first Jewish baseball league out there. There were so many people in Tel Aviv wearing Yankee caps. No Mets caps, no Red Sox caps, no Pirates caps, no Angels or Dodgers caps. The Yankees are. Hey, when you had an opportunity just to play, and the greatest fans in the world, the fan base, the Yankee fan base, they are rabid. You give them 120%, they'll boo you. They'll boo you if you do bad, but they'll cheer you 120% more when you do well. They are the greatest fans ever. And when I go back to Yankee Stadium, they hug me. They take care of me. and I love them to death. I have always loved them, and that's why I guess I was one of the favorites at my time, and that's why I won a couple of awards, the most the popular player up in New York for a couple of years, because I was always good to the fans. They were always great to me, and to this day they're the best fans in the world. And to put that Yankee pinstripes on, it's the best.
So in 1971, you were hitting .326, .565 slugging percentage for the Syracuse Chiefs, AAA team of the Yankees at the time. You got called up to the major leagues that season. What was working for you that year? You were in the zone.
Well, not really. I was a little bit older when I got to Syracuse. Tex Simone was the GM, and you couldn't have found. And Johnny finally took over when, unfortunately, Tex passed away. But Tex and Johnny Simone were unbelievable. And I came and played up in Syracuse. Unfortunately, when I came up my first time, I was 19 years old. Right. And most of the players that I played with actually were up. They came from the big leagues. And I'm the youngest guy. And that's why I actually platooned with Frank Furtie. Frank platooned me, and I got some at bats. I think I got 300. I'm not totally sure, but they had me to come back. They wanted to season me a little bit more. I came back. Frank Furtie played me more, and I just started in. I was older. I understood baseball. I played with ex-major leaguers that with Syracuse. I played with the Bobby Coxes. I played with the Lenny Bamers. I played with the Matty Galantes, and Tony Salinas and Hal Rennips and people like that who actually played up in the big leagues. And I was seasoned a little bit better. And I started getting. I started maturing in the game of baseball. So I went up to the Yankees, and thank God I started doing extremely well. And the team was owned by CBS. They did not spend a lot of money, but when George took over the team, he started spending a lot of money and started getting free agencies like Catfish, who was one of the best ever. Of course, Reggie and people like that. And he brought a winning team to the Yankees, and it was great to be part of it, and great, like I said before, great to be part of the Yankee organization, and that pinstripe means so much to me.
Final question for you. What do you hope people say about the book when they get done reading it?
I know what people are saying. It's unbelievable. And, I just look at my Facebook. I'm selling books not by ones or twos. People are buying like 35, 40, 50. I've just had a person just get 150 books. He wants to give it to his whole company. Wow. Because the book is it's not just a baseball book. It's a love. You'll read it, you'll cry, you'll smile, you'll laugh about it. It's a great, great, great book. And it's a human interest book. It's not a book you just read in the spring. It's a book that you'll keep on your shelf for many, many years about somebody that's deserving to be up in the Hall of Fame, and one of his brothers, and I'm his brother, to do everything I possibly can to get Thurman Munson into the Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York, where his wife, Diana, could go every single year to be very, very proud. She was married to one of the greatest catchers ever in the game of baseball.
Ron Blomberg, go get it. It's amazing. The Captain and Me, on and off the field with Thurman Munson, the first DH in big league history, and of course, the former Yankee and number one pick. Ron, you've always been amazing to me through the years. Thanks for jumping on. I hope everybody goes out and gets this book. Amazon.com, online where books are sold, major bookstores if you walk in person as well. And you can get Ron on Twitter, at Ron Blomberg, the number 1, and visit RonBlombergYankees.com for more. Ron, you've been amazing to me through the years, seeing you in Cooperstown, seeing you in Syracuse, coming on a million radio shows, and now my podcast. Thanks a bunch, bud.
Thank you very much. Great talking with you. Hope to see you at Yankee Stadium tell the great fans in Syracuse, New York, I miss them, and y'all had some great organizations when you're with the Yankees. But tell everybody it's wonderful to be able to talk to you again, and I'm looking forward to doing more shows and being great friends again.
The ML Sports Platter all over the major platforms. Make sure you download, subscribe, leave feedback, and a 5-star review. Huge thanks to Ron Blomberg for jumping on the program, talking about his book, baseball career, and friendship with the legendary Thurman Munson. I'm Mike Lindsley. Hit me on Twitter at Mike L Sports and at PinPassion NYY. That's at PIN Passion NYY for Yankees and baseball coverage as well at pinstripepassion.com. There's another one for you to go. I'm putting up articles and videos as much as I possibly can. We are brought to you by Barks and Rec Doggy Daycare, Camillus Golf Club, Ken's Auto Detailing, and Welch & Company Jewelers. Log on to welchjewelers.com. That's welchjewelers.com. Shop the showcase today at Welch & Company Jewelers. Bracelets and rings and watches, you name it, they've got it. Welch & Company Jewelers is the official jewelry store of the ML Sports Platter. As I always tell you, enjoy the games.